Welcome to the Light of Sirio podcast. My name is Dori Fari and I will speak with a realized spiritual master about his views on life and the topic of spirituality. So it is now the 7th episode of the second season of the Light of Sirio podcast. And we said that we would talk about the great topic of free will. And 2 episodes before, when we talked about karma, and I read a quote from Master Kirpa's book, The Wheel of Life, we talked about the kinds of karmas which Master Kirpa writes in that book, and they are the Sanchit karma, or the so-called store karma, the Pralabdha karma, which is the fate or destiny karma, and then there is the Kryaman karma, within which is the karma that we build up during this our very lifetime that we live now. So it was said that within this we have some kind of free will. And so many questions arrived about it, so I just thought in myself before, like the $1 billion question: is there a free will or isn't there a free will? But before I ask you, dear Master, to reply this $1 billion question, I would like to read a brief quote, again from the same book, from The Wheel of Life of Master Kirpa, in which he talks about this topic. So it's about the Kryaman karma, and it says, "It is the current account of one's willful actions and deeds in the present existence. This type of karma is quite distinct from the other two. In spite of the limitations imposed by Pralabdha or unchangeable destiny, each one is gifted with a free will and is free to sow what seeds he may. Endowed with the gift of discriminative faculty peculiar to his constitution alone, he can judge for himself what is right and what is wrong, and as such it would be vainly presumptuous on his part if he were to expect a bed of roses when he saws thorns and thistles. It is up to him to make or mar his future as be may. A master soul can give him a correct lead by putting before him the true values of life. Life which is more than the bodily raiment and all that is connected therewith, the sense-dominated existence. Under his guidance, one develops an easy detachment from the world and worldly affairs, and once the magic spell is broken, the blinkers fall off and the stark reality stares him squarely in the face, providing him with an opportunity to escape unscathed. Ordinarily, however, some of the Kryaman karmas bear fruit in this very life, while others, the unfructified ones, are transferred to the general account of the Sanchit karmas, which go on accumulating from age to age. Thus, it is given to each one to think ahead of time and weigh well the consequences of the acts and deeds intended before taking an irretrievable step, a leap in the dark, and a headlong plunge in a fit of impetuosity which is regretted forever and cannot be undone by blaming the stars for their supposed malignant influence. A railway engineer, for instance, is to plan beforehand the railway track, for once the lines are laid, the train is to run on blindly. A little error in laying the lines, a loose fish plate, or a wrong angle may lead to calamitous results. Even when everything is done properly, one has to keep a constant and strict watch day and night, lest anything get out of joint or the track is otherwise tampered with by hostile elements." So here I would like to stop reading from the book and ask you, dear Master, to talk more in details, explain this, because it feels a little bit as a contradiction to me, because it says there is a free will within the Kryaman karma, the free will to act in a wise and good way, But by these are actions upon our free will, we build up other karmas which we can't avoid, so then eventually our free will limits our future free will, maybe in our future lifetimes. So it's not fully clear. So how is it eventually? Is there a free will or there isn't? And what is this free will if there is?
So this is a topic about which all seekers of truth break their head. Because there is whichever angle of vision you look at it, from whichever angle of vision you look at it, there is always a contradiction. So, when I was young and I began looking for truth, I felt safe when something was either yes or no. So about this topic, is it yes or not? Any topic. So if it is neither yes nor no, then one is puzzled. One wants secure things. One wants to be sure that it is like this and it is not like that. But by and by, in the course of my quest for truth, in the course of my looking about truths of life, I came to the conclusion that the answer to any question is neither yes nor no, but it is, as one could say in Italian, ni, which is a bit of yes and a bit of no.
Yes, because in Italian, si, yes, and no is no. So
no is no.
Ni, it means
a bit of this and a bit of that.
Is ness.
So I've been looking at this fact from all possible sides, from all possible corners and points of view. We can go with the genetic side. We inherit from our parents and from the parents of our parents, and so along the line, from the family from which we derive, we come, we inherit this genetic inheritance, which is deep into our cells. It's a memory which is imprinted in our cells. And this very much conditions who we are, what we do, what we think, what we say. There is a definite imprint of genetic inheritance in who we are, what we are. So this is already a big conditioning on our head, on our person, that we carry with us and we can get rid of it. Our parents behaved in a certain way, did certain things, we didn't like it. Most of the time children keep criticizing what their parents do. But then, once they grow and they find themselves in the same situation, they do more or less the same. Most of the children blame their parents for the education they've given to them, for the example they've given to them. But in most of the cases, they just repeat the same trends. They just repeat the same things. So this already shows that we don't have much of a free will. We are very much conditioned by our genetic heritage.
But what do you exactly mean by this, that eventually children repeat the same trends? Do they perform the very same actions in a totally same way like their parents? Do they speak? Do they move? Do they act the same way?
Nothing is ever the same. Nothing repeats the same with nobody and with nothing. But similar, definitely, very similar. We are very similar to our parents. I am very similar to my father and to my mother. And I'm sure you are also very similar to your father and to your mother. So everybody is like this. There is a definite, and not only our direct parents, also our grandparents and grand-grandparents. They say that children are very similar to their grandparents, that their parents.
Yes, they
and
say
if we could go back to our grand, there would be also their similarity.
Yes, definitely. Well, they say, those who like with genetics, that always the second line of genes, like the grandparents' genes, are stronger in children. So it's always the second generation that repeats the same pattern.
There is this saying that we carry very much the imprint for at least 7 generations. But I think it's even longer, the story. It comes even from much before. Anyway, this is an aspect. And then there is this... we are born with this pralabdha karma, destiny karma, that is going to shape this life. What we are going to think, what we are going to say, and what we are going to do in this very lifetime. But then, to encourage us, we build up, we invent this story of the Kryaman karma, which is an invention. It's not real. So, pralabdha karma, it's already written. That means that what we are going to think, what we are going to say, and what we are going to do in this lifetime is already written before we are born. But then we say, to encourage ourselves, look, you have also this Kryaman karma. So you can have a say on what you say, what you think, and what you do.
So like signing a contract, almost like...
No, this is a very contradictory something. I also use this contradiction when I talk about karma. But basically it's a contradiction, because if it is already all written, what we have to think, what we have to say, and what we have to do, knowing very well that words are a consequence of thoughts, and deeds are a consequence of thoughts and words. So where is my doing in anything eventually? But in my experience, in my humble experience, what I've been understanding about myself and about watching life and watching people, and understanding which is the best way to improve, to have the stimulus, to have the input, to have the enthusiasm to go through life, then it's very helpful to understand that I have a free will and I can decide and choose myself what I do. But this is a strategy, it's not real. It's a strategy, but it works. And whether it's written there in our pralabdha karma or it is not, we invent it in this life, this attitude anyway, it's a helpful attitude. So understanding that I have a say and I can decide what to do with my life, it's a helpful element in helping me move forward with enthusiasm, with the determination of achieving something. So it's a psychological strategy which works. So it's good to be convinced that there is a free will when in actuality I don't believe there is.
It's like a placebo then.
Yes, that's an example. Placebo. You understand that this is a medicine that's going to help you to treat this kind of disease that you have, you take it with this conviction and it works. Sometimes it works, maybe not always. But if it is not a very grave, very difficult disease, health issue, then it works. So conviction and belief, it works, it helps. So if I believe that in this lifetime I'm going to realize God, and I understand that I have all the potential for doing it, and I act upon this, and I do what I'm supposed to do in order to realize God, then I may really succeed. But if right from the beginning I understand that I don't have the potential, I don't have the strength, I don't have the discipline, I don't have the capacity of living such a life that allows me to realize God, then you're a loser right from the beginning. So the mental strategy it is what is helpful here. The mental attitude, the understanding that we have. Then if eventually there is a real free will or there isn't, that doesn't really matter at this point. It matters what the kind of life that we live and the attitude that we have going through this life. Now, this understanding is definitely written there in the Pralabdha karma. I will have this enthusiasm, and I will have this bravery, this capacity, this discipline, and it was already written in the Pralabdha karma. But it's helpful to understand that I have a free will and I can act in a certain way, if I wish.
Well, now I got two new questions, and one is another billion-dollar question. So, as you describe this all, it's really the wheel of life, like a vicious cycle, out of which, with our free will, which it seems we don't have, we cannot get out. But then, the two questions, so where is the alpha and where is the omega? Where is the entry point and where is the exit point, and how do they work? So, if we don't have free will, then where does all these pralabdha and sanchit karmas do come? So how does it all start? If we don't have a free will to build up these karmas, if we come into the world, incarnate into this world, then where does it all start?
It starts with the dynamics of life. God wants to create continuously. God wants to manifest Himself continuously. God wants to see Himself, let's put it like this, manifested so that He can watch this play going on, because it's amusing for Him. So new and new souls are created all the time. Because there are anyway souls who get out of this wheel of transmigration. So new ones have to come into this wheel of transmigration. So there is an evolutionary process. Souls come into existence and they go through all the planes of creation. Mineral, vegetal, animal, human, angel, God eventually. This is the process. So, in going through this process, we act, we perform karma, we perform actions. But this is all part of the play, because we keep learning from our mistakes if we want, and we keep progressing. And in this process of progressing towards our final destination, which is God realization, we go through so many ups and downs, so many joys and sorrows, to so many factors, which is the process of life. So, do we have any real doing in this? Do we have any choice in this? Yes and no again. Yes and no. It's a process that we have to go through willy-nilly. We don't choose it. A child doesn't choose to be born. It is his, her parents that bring this child into this world. So in the same way, it is God that brings us into this existence. And then we have to go through this existence to eventually go back to our origin. The waters evaporates from the sea, goes into the sky. It's not a choice. It just happens. It's a phenomenon in nature that happens. Then it gathers like clouds. It's not a choice. It's a phenomenon. Then it falls at some point when the proper conditions are created up there. It becomes water and it falls on the earth. And then what does it do, this water? It will have to go through all this process of flowing on the earth to eventually go back to the ocean. So we'll have to fall on the ground. Then some rivulets are created. Eventually these rivulets end up in a river. The river flows to the ocean and it goes back to its origin. Does the water have any choice where to fall? In a plain area, on a hilly area, on the mountains?
Or right back into the ocean.
Or right back into the ocean? No, it just happens. So everything just happens because that's the play of life, that's the play of existence, that's God's play. That in India they call Lila, the Lila of God, the play of God. And we are part of this. We have to go through this, whether we like it or not. So let's go through it, understanding that we can do a lot. We can move mountains and dry the oceans, and we can achieve what we want to achieve. So the attitude is very important. We can have the attitude of a miserable person that understands as unable to do anything. That I am a failure since my birth. Everything I do is wrong. Or we can have the other attitude, that we are capable human beings, that we can do anything, that we succeed. And as we think, so we become. That's the whole key here. As we think, so we become. So let's think positive, let's be optimist, let's go towards the light and not towards the darkness.
So our free will is that we are free to choose our attitude. That either we are happy of what happens or not happy, but anyway, this is what's going to happen, so better to be happy about it.
Yes, that's it. And there is another point of view, another standpoint from which we can look at this whole story. So, now, in this physical plane, we are confined in time and space. And for us, this time and space is very real. So we are in a place, we are not everywhere. I am here. In this Sambani ashram in Tuscany, Italy. I am not in India, I am not in America, I am not in China or in Africa. So there is a point in space where I am. And there is time. So I'm not in the Middle Age, I'm not in 3000, I am in 2023, which is the day today of November, whatever.
The 24th.
24th of November. So it's not 25, it's 24th. So this is the dimension in which we move ourselves into time and space. And this is bound with the physical dimension. But when we withdraw from this physical dimension, we go into the spiritual dimension, then there is no time and no space, because we can move in time and we can move in space. We can move anywhere we want in the universe, and we can move any point in time, past, now and future. So, from that point of view, with no time and no space, everything has already been done. So where is free will here? Everything has already been done. What we are going through now, it's a point in time. But out of time, everything has already happened. So, we can look at this phenomenon from so many points of view. And we can understand that it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. And we are stuck in this illusion, this Maya that covers our eyes, and we see duality instead of unity. So, what we have to do, get out of duality and step into unity. Then we are free.
So where is the exit point, which is the Omega in this wheel of life?
The exit point begins when we meet a Sadguru. That's where it begins. And if we meet Sadguru at the right point in our life, with the right attitude, and with the right point in evolution, when we are really ripe for what may happen in meeting a Sadguru, then something very powerful, something very meaningful may happen that will change our life forever. But this was already written in our Pralabdha Karma. We had to meet a Sadguru, and we were ready, if we are ready.
I was just thinking about this. This was also pre-written.
Of course. So, also there, we meet a Sadguru, and it depends on where we stand in our evolution. So for some people, they meet a Sadguru and they see a nice man. He talks nice, he says wise things, nothing more. He's like a friend, nice person, nicer than the other people I've met in my life. Nothing more than this. And there is another person who meets this Sadguru and wow, this is very special, and begins to feel some kind of atmosphere around him and begins to feel like he never felt before. Some sensations, some emotions that come, and wow, that's more meaningful than for the other person I mentioned before. And then there is somebody else who meets this Sadguru and wow, begins to feel such a magnetic field around this master, and maybe sits in meditation and begins to feel an incredible peace, an incredible joy, and feel good, really good, like never before.
Oh, because gets near to the exit point.
Yes.
Of the vicious cycle.
And then there is the other one who meets a Sadguru, sits in meditation, the inner vision is open, wow, visions of light, amazing. And this keeps happening for a while, then disappears. And there is another person who meets Sadguru, wow, flies out of the physical body and gets in a kind of state which is totally unthinkable from the human, ordinary human condition, and begins this inner journey, and so many times finds himself in the real consciousness where truth prevails and falsehood disappears, and this person comes to the point of realizing the complete truth. So there are many ways and many standpoints from which we start when we meet a Sadguru and when we come on a spiritual path. And this depends on where we stand in our evolution, of course.
Well, this all which you said, it very much gave the impression to me. Sounds really like going to school, that maybe we begin in the kindergarten, preschool, then we go to elementary school, and we learn things because, as you said, that we perform karma, we perform actions, and we keep learning. But it's like preparing for an exam. And yes, you can have the attitude of non-wanting to study, or we can be enthusiastic about acquiring new knowledge. So this is nice, and then eventually get to maybe state exam and get a degree. It's like starting from kindergarten, get to university, like, I don't know, getting a degree from mathematics and physics, because then eventually the impressions you described when meeting the Sadguru, it's like that maybe some people at least discourse about physics, and then, oh, it's boring, it means nothing to me. Then another one says, sounds interesting. It's the same thing. Then another one really begins to understand something and feels attracted to it. but doesn't continue. And then by and by, then maybe there is one who really dives into it and gets to the highest level of quantum physics. And
yeah, that's how it works. So that's my understanding. What's important regarding this factor of free will, it is how much it helps us. If it helps us to think that there is no free will, it's all written, and anyway you do your best and you want to get out of this wheel of transmigration, you want to get to the highest point of your evolution, no matter what, then you don't need it. But if it helps you to think that you have a free will and that you can influence your existence, you can influence everything through your attitude, then it's okay. Welcome the free will. What matters? It's the effect that it has on our life.
Yes, it's just, again, from the viewpoint of a mother, and as I talk about the school, I think of my son. Okay, he can choose what kind of haircut to have, or what kind of frame for his glasses to have. He can choose what clothes to wear to go to school, but in the end, he has to go to school. Yeah. And he has to do the homework and study, learn the lesson. So, anyway, this is very encouraging and very nice. So, thank you, dear Master, to explain all these very complicated things in a way that we can just simply understand it better. And thank you also for the encouragement to face life in an enthusiastic way, and just to further help this enthusiasm. Now to close this episode, we can listen to a song written by Donna Jewel Pollard, sang by Master Sirio. And I still invite everybody, if you like this podcast, then please subscribe, and you can leave a comment. And if you have any questions, you can send your questions to the siriopodcast@gmail.com. And as always, next episode comes after 2 weeks. So now let's listen to Master Sirio.
Thank you. My Guru's eyes, I dare to look into. My Guru's eyes, and words and words and words unfold, and I am lost, sweetly lost in my Guru's eyes. There is no charm in this world that can release me from the lesson learned there. In my Guru's eyes, my Guru's eyes. There is no song sweet as this song I heard there. In my Guru's eyes, my Guru's eyes. And yet I dare to look away from my Guru's eyes, and words and words and words came crumbling down around my feet, and I was lost, hopelessly lost without my Guru's eyes. Oh, and darkness came where once there was light. The day was French for me, bringing night, and tears without end stopped my soul in its flight. As I wept aloud for my Guru's eyes, for my Guru's eyes, for my Guru's eyes, my Guru's eyes, and then my Guru's eyes, my Guru's eyes, my Guru's eyes. My Guru's eyes, my Guru's eyes, my Guru's eyes, and then my Guru's eyes, my Guru's eyes, my Guru's eyes.